You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
What a beautiful day for horses in the morning.
You are listening to the #1 horse podcast in the world. Here's your entertaining look at the horse world and the people in it.
This is Ashley Winch, still in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
And I'm Kat Gunther from White Lake, Michigan, and you're listening to the Quarter Horse Podcast for May 19th, 2026. Good morning, Horse World.
So we're recording this ahead of time because when this podcast drops, my entire life will be packed up and we hit the road to Montana May 20th.
Oh, wow, that's coming up. Are you excited, nervous, a little of everything?
Little of everything. We're actually taking a little pre-move vacation tomorrow to Sedona. So that we're recording on May 4th. So I'm excited to check out and enjoy Sedona and just like have one break before all hell breaks loose, which is moving with a toddler and 2 dogs thousands of miles away.
At least you don't have horses to move. That would be an added nightmare. Yeah.
There's one good thing.
Well, have fun in Sedona. Have you ever been before?
I have not. I've always wanted to go, and it's like a 6-hour drive. And so I'm just glad that Zach planned this vacation so we could go before we move, because I've always wanted to go. So
I wonder if they have horseback riding out there. Like,
they do. I looked.
You're gonna make him go?
Well, see, somebody has to stay with Levi, so we have to like take turns, and it's like a whole thing. But we'll see. I might sneak out and just go on a ride by myself and be like, "Oh, Mother's Day,"
as you should,
because we can.
Yes, as you should.
Okay, so today's show is a little bit different than what we've done in the past. We put a call out for truly unique working quarter horses, not just your ranchers, not just your quarter horse circuit, like really unique jobs. Mm-hmm. And we found 2 super cool guests that we're so excited to introduce you guys to. Kat sits down with Justin Wheeler in California, where he does something crazy with his quarter horses.
Oh, yeah. Ashley, can you ski?
I can. I love skiing. You're from Michigan. I feel like you have to.
I should be able to. This is a little bit of a look ahead for the listeners, but Justin will pull a skier behind his quarter horse, and he'll go into like the details of it all, but it's a whole event out west.
And it's becoming very popular, and I hope to try it. I hope to try it. Oh yeah. I don't want to go fast. Like, I don't want to compete and be serious, but I think I could handle like trotting.
Okay. I'd go on a sled. Would they pull me on a sled rather than skiing?
Then you're just sitting there with your hot cocoa like a princess.
I would love that. I could do the little queen wave as I go through the town. That's more my speed. Add a trot. I wouldn't want that horse to be galloping. I just want a nice little jog. Be on the sled.
And then after Kat chats with Justin about everything skijoring, I sit down with Ashley of Knoxville, Tennessee. And big thanks to our listener, Rachel, for recommending Ashley. And I mean, her quarter horses should be the poster child for all quarter horses. She does literally everything with them, to include mounted patrol. And even they just did a 25-mile endurance race last week. Like, wow. She does everything with these horses, and I'm so excited to tell you guys more about her. And, like, let's not delay. Let's just jump into this and have some fun.
Let's go.
This episode is brought to you by Farnham and Endure Gold Killer Fly and Mosquito Control, a new fly spray for horses. Discover fly protection redefined with Endure Gold, made to annihilate flies, ticks, and mosquitoes with brand new EPA-approved ingredients never before seen in equine care. Endure Gold is backed by science and built for hard work, delivering a fast knockdown and up to 14 days of fly protection. Add Endure Gold to your arsenal and upgrade your fly control rotation. Check our link in the show notes.
Our first guest is Justin Wheeler, one of the owners of Wheeler Performance Horses, which is based out of California. At Wheeler Performance Horses, Justin and his wife Jen specialize in AQHA performance events and have trained multiple world and reserve world champions. They have also coached youth and amateur riders to win world titles, along with numerous Congress and NSBA World Show championships and top 10 finishes. Justin has found success with quarter horses in the show ring and on the ranch. Today we are going to learn about his experience with quarter horses with interesting jobs. So Justin, I guess to start, tell me a bit about your background with quarter horses.
So I grew up in Northwest Colorado and was riding when I was plopped on a horse when I was straight like a couple days after coming home from the hospital.
I love that.
hang on one second. And then, so we started, my uncle used to put on a cattle drive, like a dude cattle drive deal. And so he would take cattle from Steamboat Springs, Colorado, and over to Walden and take a week. And he had a chuck wagon and everything. And we would push those cows up over the what they call Buffalo Pass. Mm-hmm. And these people from New York and stuff would fly in and do that. And me and my cousin and my brother, we were, I'd probably say 5 or 6, and we're riding along with that and doing that. And that was a pretty cool experience to kind of go back in time and do that. And it was pretty fun.
Wow. So from day one, you were hooked to quarter horses.
Yeah. My uncle and my dad's uncle and his dad all raised cutting horses, and were in the racehorse scene. They did a lot of chariot racing where I grew up. And so we did that. And my couple of my other relatives, they've all been in the quarter horse industry since it was formed.
Oh, wow. Did you say chariot racing with quarter horses?
Yep. Chariot racing.
How did that work?
It's pretty sane. It's pretty much like a 55-gallon drum cut in half with 2 bicycle tires on it. Mm-hmm. And then you run a quarter mile down a track. And it's usually in the wintertime and snow.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty insane.
Wow. Is there like an association of people that do this? Is there like an established group?
Yep. There's a world finals in Ogden, Utah. It's not as big as it used to be, but it's still a thing going on. But
I love that. Just pivoting a little bit, you train performance horses, correct?
Yes, I do. Yep.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Like about the operation, what classes you train horses for, etc.?
We specialize in the performance all around. We have a few English horses, but mainly trail, Western riding, ranch riding, horsemanship, showmanship. Pretty much anything someone will pay us to do.
There you go. So quarter horses are so versatile, right? How do you know if maybe a horse isn't suited for the show ring, but might be better off, chariot racing?
Yeah. Well, it takes a little time to kind of weed that out. But I mean, you'll know, you start trying to get them, pushing them into that box and realize that they're not going to make that fit. And then you start looking for, okay, well, what could this horse fit into? Is it going to be a pack horse in the mountains of Colorado, or is it going to be a chariot racing horse, or like where is it best going to be suited? And sometimes finding that box that they do fit into takes a little bit of time, but it usually presents itself somehow.
Gotcha. And what do you think it is about quarter horses that allow them to be so versatile and do so many different things?
I think it goes back to when the breed was created. Is the old cowboys and stuff needed a horse that they could go rope a calf on, or ride across the country, or hook to a wagon and go into town and get supplies. And they needed a horse that was quiet minded, but had a lot of stamina. And I think that's where it all started. Mm-hmm. And then the Quarter Horse Association has done a great job of breeding and improving the breed. And it's pretty cool to see how far it's came.
Oh, for sure. And what do you recommend for someone who maybe they have a quarter horse, they tried showing, the horse doesn't like showing, so they're like, what other interesting jobs can my quarter horse do? Where should they start looking?
I think it depends on what they want to do. I mean, if they enjoy trail riding, like, okay, let's start taking this horse out on some beginner trails. I'm like, oh, is it spook it, a bird flying on the bushes, or is it? I mean, how well does it handle that? If it doesn't do that, okay, let's see. Can it pack? Like if we take it to the pack string, will it handle carrying that weight, and does it fall in line? Does it get along with other horses? I mean, there's a lot of different things that you can do to kind of see. Obviously, if you're live in the middle of California and packing isn't a huge thing, that's probably not something you want to do. But I mean, there's just so many different avenues you can go down through. See what they can fit into.
That's very true. And your wife told me that you worked with guided hunting horses or something along those lines. Can you explain that a little bit?
My cousin has a outfitting company there in Colorado, and he'll pack you up into the mountains. It's called the Route National Forest and the Zirkle Wilderness. So it's when it's classified as a wilderness, you're not allowed to have any modern equipment. Can't have any electronics, any like you can't take a battery powered chainsaw, no electric bikes, not even a pedal bike, anything with a mechanical kind of background. So horses or hiking is pretty much the only thing that's allowed up there. So he'll pack you up in there. It's usually about 5 days, and you camp in a tent and got a wood burning stove in it. And then he'll even do like just summer trips. If you're not into hunting, he'll take you up there fishing. If you just want to go camping with your family, he'll take you up in there. And like I said, you just spend some time up in the most beautiful country you've ever seen. There's a bunch of lakes up there and obviously streams and little rivers and stuff. It's just, it's insane. The beauty of the countryside up there.
That sounds amazing. I didn't know you can't have any modern technology up there. That's crazy.
Yeah. So if you like look it on a map and it says like Route National Forest, and then it'll have another smaller area inside there. And if it says wilderness, then that's when like you said, you can't, like if you're riding your bike up there, or like you said, if you want to, like a lot of people will take a chainsaw along with them when they're going into the forest in case a tree falls down across the trail or something and cut it out of the way. When you get there, you're not allowed to have, if you get caught with that stuff, it's like a $500 fine or something like that.
Oh my goodness.
So they're pretty strict on that. They want it to be true wilderness and be able to experience that. So it's kind of cool. Yeah.
The most authentic experience possible. I love it. So how long are these trips? Like, I'm also curious where they put the horses at night. Do you just tie them up?
So that you can either hobble them and let them graze on the grass around camp. You can put them on a high line. So you'll take and stretch a cable or a rope across 2 trees, and then you can tie multiple horses along that. And then you can also picket them, which is by taking a long rope and tying it to a tree, and then they just kind of wander around. It takes some getting used to. Obviously, take a show horse out there and do that, and they're going to get tangled up and freak out. And next thing you know, you're going to hurt horse, rope burns all over and stuff like that. But these horses are used to it. They'll get out there and they'll kind of get twisted up, and you can see them just kind of stop and pick one foot up, move it out of the way. And again, it kind of goes back to that quarter horse breed, that how smart they are and get used to it. Same with hobbling them. You take a show horse and hobble it, they probably freak out, never know what's happened before. And those horses out there, they know how to hop along and just get to the water and drink out of the stream or eat the grass. And when you're up there for 5 days or so, if you're just going up there for fun, it's great. But like when he goes on his guided trips, he'll pack a bunch of horses up there with all the supplies and stuff, and then he'll leave saddle mounts for those people, but we'll bring all the other horses home, so you don't have to feed them, you don't have to care for them, because it's a process trying to walk them down to the stream if they're on the high line or if they're picketed. You got to take them down and water them. So I mean, it's a full-time job just in that aspect of it.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Now I want to go on one of these trips.
It is pretty fun. I took my wife and my kid on it a couple years ago. My oldest daughter, I think she was 2 years old, and she rode on the saddle in front of me, and we went up there for 3 days. A place called the Lost Lakes, and there's 7 lakes within like a 30-minute ride of each other, and we camped up there and went and saw that, and it was pretty cool. Like my kid's out there sitting on a rock howling to the coyotes, and they're howling back to her, and we turn around and there's a deer licking the ash out of the fire pit behind us. And it's some things that most people will never get to experience, but it's one of those things that pictures don't even do justice when you bring them home and show them the pictures.
Oh yeah, it sounds amazing. And another amazing thing your wife said to me is, she sent me a video of you, I think, pulling somebody on skis.
Yep. So, in Steam, I mean, there are quite a few towns that do it, but the street, like the slalom events, or we call it winter carnival in the town that we grew up in. So my family and like 3 or 4 of the other families that were homesteaded there in Steamboat Springs started this in, I think, 1913 or 1918. I'm not exactly sure on the date, but they it's obviously Steamboat's a ski town. So obviously in the wintertime before electronics and everything, wasn't a lot to do. So the skiers and the ranchers were like, hey, let's get together and we'll pull you down the street and we'll make some different events. And so like there's like a ring and spear. So you have a stick and you try to spear these rings off as you get pulled down. And there's a slalom course and a donkey jump, different things like that. And so we'll take our horses, and nowadays they'll plow, or they'll bring in a bunch of snow, dump it on the main street, smooth it off, and then we'll get there and we'll do that all day long. In the afternoon, they'll plow all the snow off the side of the road, reopen the street, and then the next morning they do it all over again. And like I said, we'll pull skiers down those streets. This year, I took one of my invitation bred horses that didn't quite cut it as a show horse. It was an orphan. And then, of course, it's a trainer-owned horse, so we didn't get it started right away. It kind of fell behind, and I started kind of messing around with it and taking on trail rides and stuff. And I was like, this horse is actually pretty good, and roped off of it a little bit. When we catch our baby horses in the pasture, I'll go pony them up to the house on him. He's dog gentle, and like I can almost push the baby horses up into a corner and halter them from this horse, and kind of just keeps the experience a lot more tranquil for him. Mm-hmm. And then, like I said, lead him up there. But I took him back to Winter Carnival this year for the first time. And everyone's like, you can't, like, the horse never been in snow. He's never pulled a skier before. I'm like, yeah, but I've done everything that can simulate that. Like, he'll be fine. I took him out there. He didn't blink an eye at it. Like, he acted like he grew up in the snow, ran down that street, didn't slip once, didn't care about the skiers pulling behind him, the crowd yipping and hollering alongside of it. It's pretty insane how cool that you can take a horse that's never been in that environment and they settle right in. I mean, obviously not every horse is going to do that, but
yeah. Oh yeah. My old show horse, he would have freaked out if he saw a skier even near him. But that sounds amazing. That's on my bucket list now. I want to see this in person.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like I said, there's quite a few towns that do it, but Steamboat does a good job. They've got the whole week there's something going on, whether it's on the ski hill. They have a deal where they call it the lighted man, and this guy skis down the ski hill with fireworks strapped to his back, and they're shooting off his back. And then they, like I said, the street events, and then there's a huge parade that then the last day they pull a bunch of different, like there's a bunch of draft horse hitches that they pull down the street and different things like that. It's kind of cool.
Very cool. And now for our last question, we always ask the same thing. If you have any funny stories with your favorite quarter horse, this could be while you're skiing, it could be in the mountains, it could be at a horse show. Do you have one memory where you're like, yep, that's it?
Yeah, I do. So that horse I was talking about, the orphan horse, Hayes, I took him back to go hunting in Colorado a couple of years ago. And my wife wasn't very enthused about this. I'm like, he'll be fine. Nothing will happen to him. So I take him up there, and I actually took one of my old youth kids and her soon-to-be husband. He's a game warden out here, and he was dreamed to go hunting in Colorado. So I'm like, come on, let's go. So we head up there, and we get to the camp, and I tie Hayes, is the horse's name, to the high line, and we're unpacking pack horses and setting everything up. And all of a sudden, the girl's like, her name's Taylor. She's like, hey, Justin, where's Hayes at? And I'm like, he's tied to the high line down there. And she's like, no, he's not. So I look down there, and his lead rope's there, but he's not there. And Taylor's like, your wife is going to kill you. And I'm like, where's your horse at? So I jump on her horse, and I start down the trail. I'm like, this sucks. Like, this horse has no idea. Like most horses that grow up or that we use multiple times there, they'll just go home. Like, it's no big deal. Like, they'll be back in the pen before we could ever get back there. So I wouldn't worry about it. But this horse, he's been up there one time before. He has no idea where home would be. Oh. So I started down the trail, and I'm like, shoot, I'm looking for tracks in the ground and stuff. And so I get to the first fork, and I'm like, I hope he went downhill. And so I start going down that trail, and I get to almost to the next fork, and he's headed back down the trail towards me. I'm pretty sure he got to that fork of the road. He's like, I have no idea where I'm going. I'm going back over here.
It's like, this isn't safe anymore. I have to go back.
Yeah. So he was headed back to camp. He's like, I don't know where home is, so I guess I better go back over here. So I caught him and brought him back to camp. And I was like, that would have been a fun story to tell my wife.
Oh, yeah. She didn't kill you now.
Yeah. Your horse won't get hurt, I promise.
Yeah. Didn't lose the horse. That's good.
Yeah. No, he survived. And then like I said, he settled right in and ended up taking that trip just in stride. And it was a cool experience to be able to take a horse. Again, never been to the mountains. And you're going up a goat trail with a straight drop off on one side and a straight cliff on the other side. And And you're like, I sure hope he keeps his feet underneath them.
Oh my gosh. Well, he sounds like a very cool horse.
He is. And it's just a testament to how versatile the quarter horse really is.
For sure, 100%. Well, thank you so much, Justin. Where can our listeners find you? I'll attach some links in the comments, but
we have a Facebook page, Wheeler Performance Horses. Jen and I both have Facebook pages, but I don't believe we have a website. So social media, Instagram or Facebook, Wheeler Performance Horses on both of them. So
perfect.
Probably the easiest way.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Justin.
Alrighty. Thank you.
Joining me now, and you guys bear with us, this might get confusing because our guest is named Ashley Manning. And I have to say, what a great name, Ashley.
I know, we've ruled the world.
I know. It's just there's something about an Ashley. You know, we're always a good time. I've never met an Ashley who wasn't.
Exactly.
So, Ashley, I'm so excited. One of our listeners, Rachel, had connected us because I was on the hunt for quarter horses doing stuff that is really unique. And you have not one, but two that you have lots of fun with. So let's go ahead and start with focusing on the mounted patrol of it all. Tell me how you got into the mounted patrol work with your quarter horses.
So back in 2020 is actually when I got my first horse, and that was a quarter horse. And so that's Blue. He is a Peppy Sand Badger bred horse. He's a bay. And he was really spooky when I got him. And I was new to horses. I wasn't sure, is this normal? How do I work through that? So I stumbled across the County Mounties, which is a local branch of a kind of a nationwide organization that was started out of North Carolina. I stumbled across them here locally in Tennessee and went to a couple of their training events. And they work a lot on desensitization, despooking a horse, getting them really familiar with items, tarps. They work up. So they start with tarps, pool noodles, work into fireworks, shooting a gun off of a horse, a bunch of different things like that. So I originally stumbled into that just to try to work through my boy's issues because I was like, I just want a really safe trail horse. Like, I don't want to have to worry about him jumping to birds in the, in the woods and deer and whatnot, and so that's how I stumbled into it. So that was back in 2022. And from there, after I had started that, about 6 months into it, they started talking about going up to the Kentucky Horse Park and competing against a bunch of mounted police officers. And I was like, well, wait a minute. I like to compete. That sounds fun. So Blue and I had about 2 weeks of prep time to get to go to this event. And it was a huge learning experience. They have about 150 horses that come from all over, including Canada.
No kidding.
All these mounted units come together. They work on training for the first couple of days, and then they actually do 3 different types of competitions. And they do one that's a individual obstacle, a team obstacle, so you're with one other partner having to do teamwork on horseback, and then they have a speed obstacle round. So we attended that, and I've gone to that every single year since then. That's held in September, and it is open to the public if people wanted to come out and just watch. I know they do a clinic for the public on Saturday, and you don't have to be affiliated with any organization. That is an option to attend. So.
And what type of competition do you do, or do you participate in all of those categories?
So I participate in all those categories, and it's not a competition in the fact that it's intense and you have to have certain gear and you have to. Yeah. It's much more cop style, if you want to put it that way. So everyone's very welcoming, everyone's very supportive, but it's a lot of just obstacle work and getting your horse to work with you as a team. So prior to that, I had done ranch versatility shows with him. So, he's familiar with doing cow work and obstacles, but they were, like what you'd find out on a trail, a bridge or, whatnot. So these, we're talking about trash cans with Halloween rats in them that are moving. You've got bubble machines. You're talking like stuff you're never going to see that on the trail, but you might see that in parade work. So a lot of these mounted police horses have to be able to go into the parades. So that kind of trickled into the following February. So that was September. So the following February, they all go down with the county mounties. They all go down to Mobile, Alabama, and work alongside the police officers. You get sworn in as a civilian mounted patrol to go into actual streets and work all the Mardi Gras parades. So,
wow.
Yep. So you're suited up in Kevlar, you have a whistle. You have no gun, you have a whistle, and you go side by side, boot to boot with these mounted police officers, and you're pushing crowds of people and you're controlling people on the streets during all the parades in Mardi Gras. So
was there any I mean, do you have a story from that, or was everybody like pretty well behaved? Or I mean, I could see that getting kind of dodgy, you know?
Yeah. So I did not go this year because I had conflicting things going on. But last year when we went, it got a little sketchy. We had 13 horses boot to boot across a 2-lane road, and we were pushing about 20,000 people to clear this road after
Holy
all the parades were
smokes.
done.
Wow.
And you're walking through broken glass bottles, walking over scooters that were abandoned. We had a wheelchair, like an automated wheelchair that was sitting there that I had to have people move out of the way.
Oh my gosh.
I ended up being on the far side along the people. And in the middle of doing this, you're half halting and you're moving along as a row, getting people, you can't let anyone get between you. So you're pushing like you're pushing cattle.
Right.
You're pushing people forward and hoping that they don't close in behind you, because that's a really dangerous situation.
Yeah.
And behind us, they had a row of motorcycles and then a row of street sweepers. And so they were trying to keep that open so that way all the traffic could start flowing through the city again.
Mm-hmm.
And at that moment, this man decides to put his 18-month-old baby on my horse's neck and said, "She's always wanted a pony ride." And
oh my God.
that blew me away. And I just looked at him and I said, "Sir, this is a working police force at this moment. Please take your baby off my horse."
What?
And, you try to remain respectful.
Yeah, but you want to be like, dude.
Yeah, I was like, so I'm just thankful that I have the horse I have, because he handled it like a champ, and he knows work mode versus like he can get away with stuff in the arena a little bit more.
Isn't it funny how they know?
Oh, yes. Yes.
I love to see that in a horse when it's time to work and that switch flips. And it's funny because I see the same in working dogs too, when that harness comes out or that toy. I just love seeing the animals switch into work mode. So, wow. I love that you came into this as a person trying to fix your horse from spooking, and now look at where you are.
Yeah.
I love that. And I think that speaks a lot to your horsemanship. So good on you for, troubleshooting this and finding something you really love to do. So you also, when you're not, controlling crowds, you also partake in Civil War reenactments with your horses. So I have to assume they are gun-proof, cannon-proof, all the things. Tell me a bit about that.
So that I stumbled into. I actually met a girl who's done it for at least a decade. And she had told me back in, I guess it was about 2022 as well, that she's
you
like,
had a busy 2022.
I really did. She kind of opened the whole gateway to it. And she said, "Hey, have you ever considered doing a Civil War reenactment?" And I was like, "No, what is that?" And she's like, "Well, let me tell you what. Have you ever been on a gaited horse?" I was like, "No." She goes, "Okay, come experience one." She goes, "We have a horse that you can ride that's already trained for it, so you don't have to focus on the horse part."
Mm-hmm.
And she said, "Show up with your toothbrush and your underwear, and we will outfit you for an entire weekend." And of course, I'm going to jump all over that.
Yeah, rock and roll.
Not knowing what I'm getting myself into. Well, it turned out it was the Battle of Chickamauga, which was one of the biggest national events that we hold here in Tennessee area. And I rode with the 5th Georgia Cavalry. And I got on this horse I'd never been on, and we went out in the dark. We had to, you're in a McClellan, a real Civil War saddle.
Yeah.
So you're in a whole different gear, and you're having to learn how to tack that horse up with that gear in the dark. And I put all that on him, and I got out, and I'm wearing these wool pants and boots and wool coat, and of course you're sweating.
Oh gosh,
and you have a saber sword on one side, you've got a pistol in your right hip, and you go out and I had no idea what I was getting myself into. And when you crest that hill and the sun is rising and you see the smoke from the cannons and you see all the infantry, I mean, there was a couple thousand people on the ground just doing the infantry work. It's I can't even describe it, but I had goosebumps. And you hear, the trumpets and the bugles, and it was just incredible. It was a very moving experience. I had tears in my eyes, and just it's very grounding to see that kind of history.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like that's as close to time travel that most people will ever experience in their life. Truly,
Yes. And then sleeping in they have little canvas tents, and you're sleeping next to the fire, and everything's covered in dew in the morning. And I mean, it's quite the experience. And so after I experienced that, I'm hooked, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this was amazing. The horse was incredible. I had so much fun. You're charging into battle, and you're galloping across, and you're jumping over infantrymen that are, playing dead out in the grass. And I mean, it was just an incredible experience, and I was hooked. Well, of course, they had already sold that horse, and I was like, dang it, now what do I do? So I looked at my horse, Blue, and I was like, guess what, buddy? You get to learn how to be a cavalry horse.
Blue.
Yep. So I spent the next about 9 months training with him. So just training, on gunfire at home, which you can't replicate the cannon fire. I mean, that's one thing that you cannot mirror the cannons. So working on that, I used to charge my husband when he was on my other horse, and we would charge with pool noodles and like sword fight, and pretend.
That sounds like the best couples therapy I've ever heard of, period. Like,
if you ever get mad, you just whack him with a pool noodle. And,
just joust your husband. It'll be fine.
Exactly. What can go wrong?
I would pay good money for this, honestly.
So that's what we did. And I was able to prepare him and get him ready. Well, then what happened is when the next event came around that September, I'd spent all this time, almost a full year, getting him ready for this, between going to Mardi Gras and working that and then working at home. And so I was like, yes, we are ready. Well, I had his hocks injected, and I decided to add the SI joint, and he was dragging his left leg after that. Like something went wrong with that injection. And so what do? I was like, well, pitch hitter, that's my other quarter horse. She's not gun broke. We're taking her to the Civil War. So my other one, she's a mare, and she's a redheaded mare.
Of course she is.
Of course, that's the whole spiciness. So I took Amore out to Georgia, Hurricane Shoals, for her first event, not knowing that in a 5-acre field would be 13 cannons.
Oh my God.
And so again, you can't train for cannons, and I hadn't done any gun breaking.
Oh my gosh.
I played it very safe on her. So we went out, and I sandwiched her between seasoned horses, and we went out and we did a lot of saber fighting. And I never did fire a pistol off of her, like during battle, because she would spiral. But she was around it all. She was around pistols being fired at her, next to her, the 13 cannons, and she handled it. She handled it well, not as well as my gelding, but she did handle herself well.
For a pitch hitter. I mean, you gotta. What a good girl, And for our listeners who haven't experienced, because I actually have family members with a Civil War cannon, and if you haven't experienced a cannon shot, I mean, your bones shake. This is not just a boom that you hear. This is a full body ground shaking. I mean, it's a huge noise, and for a
along
horse
with the cloud of smoke,
exactly,
that travels,
the audio, the visual, the smell, right? Like, it's huge, and for you to just throw your poor mare in there, like, God bless her. Only a quarter horse. I'm gonna say it, like, I know. Honestly. Yep. Oh my gosh. And then right before I hit record, you told me that you had just finished something else with these incredible quarter horses on Friday. Tell me about that.
Yes. So I have 2 other horses as well that I do endurance racing with. And I have a friend who's a retired mounted police officer out of Columbus, Ohio. And she had expressed desire to do an endurance race. And I said, you know what? The most beautiful place to ride is at the Biltmore. And where else can you do it for $120 or whatever the entry fee is, where you can go for 25 miles and have your photograph taken in front of the mansion? You have trails already lined up for you.
Take all my money.
That's just that's an entire experience, right?
Yeah,
and I
for
was
sure.
like, look, I said, I will spend the next, and it took me about 8 months to prepare these 2 for 25 miles because my quarter horses are they're not built for 25 miles of speed.
For sure.
There's a time limit.
Yes.
They can go all day, but for speed, that's a whole other ballgame.
Exactly.
And so I told her, I said, look, I'll prep them. I'll condition them. I'll have them ready by May. You just come down and we'll haul over together and I'll have Blue set for you. So I've worked with Blue for the last about 8 months to get him conditioned for it. And we went out on Friday morning for the 25 miles. And at first we were like, well, we won't be competitive with it. We'll just have fun. So that first 16-mile loop, we were taking videos and pictures. And I mean, the scenery was amazing. It was a sunny 70-degree day. I mean, it was
perfect.
Awesome. And then the second loop, we came in for our vet check because you have a mandatory vet check and you have a 50-minute hold. And we start calculating the time. And I was like, oh, crap. We have 10 miles left and our time limit is 1 hour and 35 minutes.
Pedal to the metal, baby.
And I was like, so there is no time to walk. Like, if you want to complete this and you want to make it count for something, we can just say we're here to have fun and not make it count. But if you want to make it count,
now's the time.
We're about ready to ride. And she goes, I want to make it count. And I'm like, okay, that's all I need to know. And we took off, we trotted, loped. I mean, she's like, that was such a blur. She goes, I don't remember anything of the last 10 miles. So we hustled that last loop and we got in with 3 minutes to spare and ended up vetting in, and both horses were vetted in well, happy, healthy, and we completed. So 25 miles, they both completed that on Friday.
I mean, talk about a true all-around pair. Really? Is there anything you can't do with these horses?
Jumping. So I had broke my leg. I ended up with a complete ACL, MCL with a tibial plateau fracture 6 months into owning Blue. Yeah, I was wanting to do fox hunting and I was starting to jump. And of course I was jumping in an all-purpose saddle, wrong equipment. Now I know hey, it's worth it to spend the money on the right equipment. And I ended up having 6 months on crutches with surgery. So that set me back. Oh,
man.
So I won't do that and I won't do trick riding. But I will try just about anything else.
You gotta leave some space for somebody to have, competition there. You can't be perfect at everything.
Yeah, I try.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today, Ashley. This has been awesome. And you keep on being a badass with your quarter horses. Before we wrap, actually, I forgot. We ask our guests the same question at the end of any interview. And it is quite possibly the toughest question we ask here. And that is, would you share a funny story with one of your quarter horses? It can be from the competition ring, something funny that they do in the barn when you're feeding, just your funny little quarter horse quirk.
So with my quarter horses, actually, both of them have started doing this. When I do a lot of events where I'm camping, because between the Civil War and the endurance, they're right there at my trailer. So we just run an electro braid fence around. So they're right there at my window. And they both, it's funny because Amore, she did it this weekend for the first time. But they both come to my window of my trailer in the morning and they'll lift their upper lip and be smiling in the window. And I don't know why. I don't know if they're looking at themselves. It's almost like they're looking is there something in my teeth? Or they're just smiling hey, Mom, I'm going to wake you up.
Mom, we're hungry.
Yeah. But either way, both of them, they love that window. And I love having them right there and hearing them munch all night out my window because I sleep with my trailer window open. And to hear them, munch all night and then to see them do that to me in the morning when I'm getting my coffee ready, there's nothing better than, it doesn't matter what the day might hold for us together. You know, I know that they're right there. They're happy and content.
I love that. Those are two happy horses, just excited to do who knows what, because their mom makes them do crazy stuff.
I know.
Thanks so much for tuning into the Quarter Horse podcast on Horses in the Morning. Be sure to like, subscribe, and tell your friends all about the world's favorite breed of horse.